Under the same roof, we share the love, embracing the differences like hand in glove. Spreading peace and joy, it's a beautiful sight. Together we shine in each other's light. And now do we stand in love's pure might, watching the world share in love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. Colors of harmony painting the night. And now do we stand in love's pure might.
Good evening, everyone. Might as well say good night. It's so late. I debated about coming on because I had a show with another channel earlier, and I figured I would come on and show you guys the video. But I'm going to go through the video along with the notes that we received from court, because it's not just the video. We also have the courtroom testimony. And we also have the surveillance video from Karmelo Anthony. So we're going to go through it all. It's a 15-minute video. I imagine it'll take us an hour. So if you could just hang on for 1 hour. If you happen to be watching this on the late night crew, make sure you hype up the video or whatever it's called. I'm going to give a few people some time to get in here and also join us. So I had said that this show would start at 11:30. So I'm going to give it a few minutes. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions, if you've seen the video already, feel free to start shooting me your questions now. I'll answer those questions. I've been talking about this case so much, I pretty much don't even need notes. But I'm going to break down the video. I'm going to show you guys that what I'd been telling you all along was actually right on the money. Karmelo, I keep hearing channels saying Karmelo was already in the tent. I'm going to show you the part where Karmelo actually comes and sit in the tent. It's insanity, you know, but we're going to get to it. I just want the watchers to be able to understand, you know, what was said in court according to what we see on the video. People are going to forever debate this. I'm not knocking that at all. But at least I can link up the timeline to show you exactly that what I had been telling you all week was right on point. There is no point where you see 4 individuals walk into the tent, surround Karmelo, and then start beating him up. So we're going to get to all of that tonight. I'm going to show you exactly, so there's no debate about it. So basically, I have the video from both angles. We have the video from the 4K view, but the problem was, in which I later understood, is that when they actually zoomed in to show us in court what's happening under the tent, just as the video expert had testified, the video became pixelated. So then you know, it's kind of skewed. Now, keep in mind, right, the frame that I'm going to show you guys tonight is from the 4K video. So it's 4K because of the camera, and at the distance without any zooming is 4K. When you zoom in, that's when it gets all still 4K, but it becomes pixelated, right? So we're going to get into all of that tonight. I'm going to break it down. So I'm going to get started now. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe. We're going to go through this. I'm going to tie in some points that we learned from the testimony in court. Let's get through this together. And thank you guys for all the support. Let's get to it. All right, so here we go. The video starts off. We see, I want you to notice over in the far right-hand side, you see the L's on top of the tent. That's Liberty Tent. That's very important to note. You can see where it's lit up. Actually, I have to go back to the beginning of the video, I believe. Actually, this is not the video. Let me see what I labeled it. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me see what I labeled the video. Let's see here. Give me 1 second. All right. Let's see if I can find it here. Okay, Karmelo Anthony case court. All right. So let me pull it up here. Karmelo Anthony. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Right here. This is the video. All right. So the video starts off. If we go back, I should have pulled up the video from. Let me pause this. The video from Hunter. He actually says when he's talking to his mother. Actually, I have 2 minutes yet before the show was to begin. Give me one moment before we do this. I want to go back and find something. Give me 1 second. I want to show you guys in detail. So just bear with me. I have to find this video with Hunter. Okay. And we have this here. It's Tuesday. Just bear with me. I want to try to show you what Hunter actually said before we get started. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So let's get back to it. I'm going to pull that up. All right. So as Hunter said in the video, they were coming back from middle school. I think you guys remember that. So let's get to it. There's no sound in this video. So they were walking along. And I guess here, if you notice, the guy in the gray sweatshirt, I believe that's Karmelo Anthony. In court, they showed us him coming inside the arena, going back out, and then coming in to find a seat where he actually went over to the tent. So let's check this out here. So that's Karmelo Anthony. He's walking along and he's actually heading over. He has his backpack on. And this is when I was telling you guys the West video frame. This is the view that I was telling you about. And I kept telling you guys how Karmelo would come in and out of this gate. So now he's highlighted. And this highlighting was done by the video expert that we actually had in court. He was the first witness to take the stand. And he's the one that highlighted the video for everybody to be able to see. All right. Now, before we get started, it's very important. I want to tell you guys this, and you can make a note if you want to. At 9:54, Austin arrives. We're talking about the tent. At 9:56, Karmelo arrives. And then at 10 o'clock and 48 seconds, the fight begins. And then at 10 o'clock and 53 seconds, it says the suspect started to run. Okay. So keep these timelines. Okay. A lot of people online are saying that Karmelo was already under the tent. And then you had these individuals walk into the tent and then they started to beat him. I'm going to actually show you guys that what we learned in court is actually true. At least just this part of it, right? I'm not talking about the whole case. I still felt like it was a self-defense type of situation. And I just have my beliefs for that. I'm entitled to that. But let's stick to this timeline. Keep it in mind. Austin arrives in the tent along with the guys. And then 2 minutes later, Carmelo's going to show up. So that's going to be the key point of tonight. Okay, so now we have the other frame. This is the east side that I've been telling you guys about all week, right? The east side cut right through the tent. This is Austin and Hunter's tent. Okay. And we're looking at it from the 4K viewpoint. You see how it's clear? In court, we didn't get to see it this clear, maybe at the very beginning, but once they zoomed in, now it's pixelated. So it's much, uh, it's hard to decipher who's who. Now, keep in mind, when I showed you guys the video of the guy from News Nation, he said that he came actually to the Frisco ISD, I believe, and he looked at this video along with everybody else. But he said it was still blurred, right? And that's what we see today. It's still blurred. You really can't make out each and every little detail. Tonight, I'm going to really try to pay attention to the comments because there's so many narratives going. But now we're looking at the East frame. This is Austin and Hunter's memorial tent. You're going to see these guys, Austin, Hunter, they're going to walk in from the right part of the frame. I already showed you how they were coming across basically through the parking lot. So look out for these guys. I'm going to show it to you. Okay, so we see people walking in, um, and you're going to notice. I'm actually going to try to expand this here. So you see a bunch of guys just walking in, and I think this is the full video. And you're going to see Austin. I haven't watched this fully, this particular version of it. I'm going to see if it matches up. You're going to see Austin, Hunter, and some of the other guys actually go up under the tent, I believe. So we just have to, there's so many different editions of this. So I'm trying to see how this one is mapped out. I believe this is the total 15-minute video. But you're going to see Austin and Hunter and some of the other guys go under the tent. Actually, this is a different version. Okay, so this is not the exact video. Let me just stop it. So anyway, I know I can explain this one too, but this is not the video I wanted. Okay, so or it's not chopped up the way it was. Let me show you. So if you keep your eyes on, I'm gonna go back here. You're gonna see 4 guys walk past the tent, and you're gonna see someone with a poncho on. I think it's gonna be yellow. But pay attention to the tent. You're gonna actually be able to see when Austin pushes or hits Carmelo with this linebacker style push. You see these 4 guys walking past? Did you notate that? I want you guys, I'm gonna let it play out again. I want you to notice that these 4 guys are gonna walk past the tent. And right after they walk past the tent, all right, you see someone just left, right? You're gonna actually see right here. Now you're gonna see if you look very carefully. I'm trying to get a better. There's so many different angles of this video, but notice how Austin is going to. If you're gonna notice one person actually go at Carmelo. All right, so pay attention to this. And then you're gonna see Carmelo run out of the back of the tent. Right here. Let's see how I can remove this. Okay, so there you see Carmelo come out of the tent. So this is where I'm going to stop it at. Right here. So I'm going to go back. I don't know why this video is not working. Okay, so pay close attention to what's actually happening under the tent. The best video that I've seen so far came right here. So you see, let's see this video. So we're at 24. Let's go 21. 17. Okay, so we're at 17 seconds, 2 minutes and 7. This is based on this video. But if you look under the tent, you could barely make out who's who, but you're going to see what we were told in court, that Austin is going to actually approach Carmelo with a football move. That's what one of the guys, Hudson, had explained. Another guy named Jason says that he grabs him and starts to pull him up. So watch very carefully. You'll see the commotion under the tent. Right there, you see the push, and then he goes back to the left. And then you see after that, you see them start to disperse, and you'll see that Carmelo runs up behind the tent. Then he comes down, he falls, and then there's some guys that are actually chasing him. One of them stops. I think his name was Nathan. For whatever reason, he heard that Austin probably, because a lot of the witnesses says Austin let out a loud shout. Okay, so that probably is what compelled him to actually go back. But I'm going to just play this one more time. We're going to go back to 217. So basically, in court, this is all they really had as far as video to give the guy 35 years. Okay, it's very hard. I guess they tried to base it on the witness testimony. But let's try to watch this one more time, and I'm going to try to find the actual video that Sarah had put out, because that one seemed to have been the longer video. So we're going to look for it. Right there, you can see the push, and then he goes back to the left, and then you see a whole bunch of commotion under the tent. Do you guys see that? Okay, Bernsey says he was never jumped. Okay. They had witness testimony. Okay. Nosy Rosie said, I see a push. I don't see him being jumped. Okay. All right. I'm not here to give you guys a narrative. And I wish I had a better video. I think I downloaded the wrong one. I'm going to pull up on X the right video so we can get the proper timeline. I downloaded this one from YouTube. It was a wrong video that I really wanted, but I'm going to get to it in 1 second. But anyway, at any rate, I want you guys to pay attention under the tent. You'll be able to see when Austin actually hits Carmelo with this, what they described as a football move. Right about now. See that? And when they swing backwards, he's probably stabbed at that point. Then you start to see a whole lot of commotion. But look how fast it takes for Carmelo to clear the tent. He's already out of there. You see that? They put the spotlight on him. He's running down, and he's out of there. So I'm sorry, guys. I did this at the last minute. Usually I have things together, but we're going to find that right video. Just give me 1 second to try to do that. So I'm going to do it right now. Let's see. I'm going to find the right video and get it up for you. Just give me a second. In the meantime, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much. See if I can find the right video. Okay, that's 55 seconds. I want the 15-minute video. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to show you guys the right video now. Sorry about that. But it's one of those days. So we just got to push through it. It's been a long day. But we're going to do this. Okay, so I showed you that, but this is the video I actually wanted. And again, thank you for bearing with me on this here. All right, here we go. So let's remove this one. And okay, so let's see which one is the 15-minute video. Okay. All right, so this is, I think this is the longer video. Okay, yeah, this is the longer video. Let's see if you guys can see it. Okay, so now you see the guys coming in. Here we go. This is the video I thought I had. I'm sorry, guys. It's a long day. All right, so now this is a high quality video. You can see it's in 4K. And now I can give you guys the proper layout, okay? So now you're going to see Austin and Hunter. You see them, they're walking back from the middle school. One of them seemed to have on a purple sweater or so. Most of them are dressed in black. Right now, they're right by that tent, I believe. And they're walking in. The camera is following them. This is the video I wanted. I'm sorry, guys. So they're walking back. You could actually see the cars. You can see the school buses in the background. You can see raindrops. Remember, people were saying they could see raindrops. Okay, so this is a 4K video. If you put this on the 4K television, it would even be clearer. Okay, so this is the video I wanted. Again, guys, thank you very much for tuning in. I'm gonna try to stop and get some of the questions. So this is the crew, and they're walking back to their tent, because they all have to participate in, different things throughout the day when it comes to the track meet. So they walk past this gate here, and you're going to notice here that the tent is pretty much empty. And look at there, they're walking up and they're sitting down. So this is the twins along with some other guys. All right. But did you see that? I want to take you back a little bit. I want you to notice, look how empty the tent is. Okay. Now, some people are probably thinking that Karmelo is sitting up there in the right or whatever. That's not true. And I'm gonna actually show you guys. Okay. So they walk in and they go up into the tent. Okay. Karmelo is not there. Okay. I'm gonna show you when Karmelo arrives. Now, according to the court notes, this is now 9:54. Austin and Hunter arrives. 2 minutes later, Karmelo arrives. Okay, so let's let it play. And I want you guys to notice where these guys just sat down at. You're going to actually see Karmelo come in with a backpack, and he's going to sit right there in this gap, right under the yellow of this tent. So keep your eyes there. In about 2 minutes, well, less than 2 minutes now, because the clock is already rolling. In about 2 minutes, you're going to see Karmelo come and sit down. And I'm going to point it out to you a couple of times until we can all, we could see what, at least what we are told in court. All right. So again, guys, hit the like button, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much. Okay, so the guys are sitting there. Notice some people had been saying that these guys walked in, they surrounded Karmelo, and then In 20 seconds, they were beating him, right? Did you guys hear that? Well, look at this. It's past 20 seconds already, and these guys are sitting in the tent. Carmelo's not even there yet. I'm going to show you guys this. It's insanity to me, the things that I'm seeing. But anyway, I'm only concerned about trying to help you guys to understand at least what we were told. You could do whatever you want to do with it after that, but you're going to see Carmelo come in and sit down. And it takes a while. So they just came back from the middle school or whatever they were doing. They're all sitting there, doing their due. And then Carmelo walks up and sits down. It takes a while for Carmelo to get there and sit down, but you're going to see it. There he comes. Here comes Carmelo, and he sits down. Okay. This is the point. This is the 2 minutes later when Carmelo comes in. You saw him fill in the gap. Okay. This is how it's described at court. See, he sits down right at that point. Okay. So let's go back. That's Carmelo arriving, sitting in the gap right here. That's 2 minutes later. If you do the time, that's him right there filling in the gap. You still can't make out his face or whatever, but I'm just giving you the court testimony. The person sits down, okay? So now we're sitting in court and they tell us that this fight is gonna happen, right? But we have to sit in court another 4 to 5 minutes because we're waiting for the fight to happen. So Carmelo's arriving now. So I'm gonna start the clock and watch how long it takes before the fight happens. Now, this corresponds to all the witnesses because the witnesses said that these guys were going back and forth. They were arguing. Some of them were telling, Carmelo to leave. It was over time. It didn't happen immediately when Carmelo arrived, but it happened over that 4 minute span. So check it out. So we're sitting in court, and I'm like, well, is this thing ever going to happen? Are we going to see the fight? And just keep your eyes on the tent. It's going to take 4 minutes. So this whole narrative where people are just saying, "Oh, these guys walked in." I showed you guys when Austin and Hunter arrived there, right? That's the narrative is when they arrived, they were there 20 seconds and then they started beating Carmelo. We've been watching over 2 minutes. Nobody's being beaten, okay? Carmelo arrived in that 2 minutes. Now we got to wait 4 minutes for the fight to happen. Okay, so here we go. And you're going to see all sorts of people. People are just saying, oh, there's movement. Oh, they're fighting. No, these people are just minding their, they're just doing their thing. Now there's probably some words going back and forth with Carmelo because he's actually under the tent now. But you don't see any fighting. For the most part, people are sitting down. You see this guy, he shows up. You see the kids just walking by the tent. So look how much time has gone by. Nobody's fighting. It takes a whole 6 minutes before the fight kicks off. And that ties right to the court, the testimonies and everything else. You don't have to make up, we could get to a resolution and prove that Carmelo was tackled without having to say he was even jumped. But I'm going to show you in a minute when the fight kicks off, you're going to see. You're going to clearly see what was described in court. You're going to see Austin get up and he's going to snatch up Carmelo. You're going to see it. But notice this guy, he comes out. People just minding their business, Some guys are going to prepare to go running. You see some people on the field. You see this person walk up with their poncho, the yellow poncho. But time is going by. 4 minutes. And I'm in court waiting. I'm like, man, I see these people walking by. When is the guy's gonna get stabbed? I don't, there's no commotion, right? But this is what I've been telling you guys all week, and I get all of these bizarre people just, oh man, it just doesn't stop. But I want to show you. The video lays it out. So if anybody wanted to speak with the video, there's nothing I'm just gonna leave it there. But anyway, in a few minutes, you're gonna see the fight kick. You're gonna see Austin get up, and we got to look at this with a sort of I don't want to say common sense. I don't want to offend anybody. We have to look at this for what it is, right? And I'm going to show you in a few minutes or a few seconds when this kicks off. You're going to see Austin stand up and grab Karmelo. And we're going to go through it. But see, I don't want to pause it, but look at all the time that's gone by. 4 whole minutes, right? And the guys have been in the tent 6 minutes, Austin and Hunter. And look how long we've been waiting, and there's still no fight yet. But you're going to see it right about. Well, we still have to have, I think, a few of the guys are going to have to walk by. There's going to be 4 guys that walk past. These guys are not going to the tent. These guys are just walking. We've been seeing people walk past the tent for the last 4 minutes, right? People just living their lives. And we're still waiting for this fight to kick off. You see how long this is taking? I was doing this in court. I'm like, man, how long we got? So there you go. You see Austin attack him, and then he bounces back. All right. So check this out. We're at 8 minutes and 2 seconds. We're gonna go back 7:58. Now notice this, right? So a whole 4 minutes and some change went by after Karmelo arrived, and the guys arrived 2 minutes before Karmelo. I just showed you guys that this is how it was laid out in court, right? Now notice you're gonna see, if you look under the tent, you're gonna see Austin attack Karmelo, and some of the witnesses described it as a football move. Check it out, right there, boom. You could actually see, and then think about it this way, right? And it explains so much. Karmelo is sitting on the back. He's not even under the tent. He's sitting on the row behind the tent. This is in court. Eddie is sitting beside him to his right. So when you reverse and think about how they're sitting in this tent, then you see Karmelo. Eddie is sitting right there beside him. Um, he testified that Austin hit Karmelo, so he came at him so hard it knocked Eddie out the way. So I want you, when you watch this video, you can blow it up, whatever you got to do to get to it. Pay attention that when Austin, he's sitting down, he gets up, and it looks like he leaps. He covers some ground, and I want you to look at the timing and who's moving. Clearly, Austin attacks Karmelo. And when we get to the body cam footage, we're going to actually see that Karmelo is saying that Austin is the person that touched him, right? And he told him not to. He didn't say they attacked me. He clearly identified Austin as the person. Imagine in the opening arguments, I was sitting there the whole trial trying to find a point where someone said that Hunter had punched Karmelo or that 2 or 3 guys had jumped him, because that would have made a different case. He probably wouldn't have gotten any time, or at the very least, manslaughter, right? But anyway, I want to stay on target because this is very important. So we're going to look at this again until we get this down pack here. So let's pay attention. You're going to see Austin stand up, and he's going to lunge. It's 5 seconds, right? In court. At 10 o'clock and 48 seconds, they start fighting, and Austin gets up and tackles him, right? At 10 o'clock and 53 seconds, the suspect is running. So pay attention to this. Is a 5-second altercation. 5 seconds. And you're going to clearly see, watch this. Let me go back again. Here we go. Sorry. Right now, you're going to see it. You can see how big this boy is. You see Austin. You can also see his body, like he's moving up bleachers, and you can see him push. He's tackling, pushing. He's tackling Carmelo clearly, right? And then watch this. When I start, they're gonna go back to the left. See that? He goes back, and then you see all these bodies moving, and you see him. He's out at 5 seconds. He's long. Look how fast. I'm gonna go back. Look how fast this boy comes out of the tent. I mean, he's very fast, right? Look at how I want you guys to notice when the commotion after Austin hits him, he books it right out of the back of that tent. Some people are saying they saw him backing up and he was crawling out. No, that boy ran out of the back of that tent. Watch this. See how fast he's gone? But I want to go back to when Austin actually tries to railroad him. All right, here we go. So they're under the tent, right? Look at the bodies moving, right? Do you see any fighting, any distortion? Look at this. But you're going to see Austin get up. Watch this. Right there. Austin, boom. And he comes back to and when they make the look how fast he's gone. When they make the contact, you see as in court they say everybody starts to disperse. And then you see these guys chasing him, right? Look at how fast he's moving. He already fell when he came down. Then he stops, right? Look at him. He stops and look, he's running, running. Okay. That's Carmelo. He slows down, and you see a lot of people, somebody's pointing at him. This is all consistent with the courtroom testimony. So I'm glad they released the video. Okay, so then he ends up coming on the field, but the argument of the prosecution is that he was trying to run out of the place. Okay, I'll let you come to your own conclusion about that. It's clear. I'm going to go back. I'm actually going to go back to I'm sorry, guys. This has been such a painful case. So unfortunately, we got to go back again. 8:12. Let's see. What's the time on this thing? Okay, 8. It was 8:12, right? Yeah, here we go. 8:05 right here. 7:50. Okay, so pay attention again. There's the push and the pull back. Notice that you can clearly see it's Austin attacking this boy. We're going to play it again. Look. Austin's going to get it right now. Austin, boom. And then go back to the left. And you see some people running away out of the left of the tent. Once people figure out what's happening, you'll see these guys start chasing him. There's 3 guys there. One of them go back. He's booking it out of there. The prosecution said he was trying to run out of the establishment. That was in the opening arguments. You see, he stopped. That's why they say he was trying to blend in with the crowd. When he stopped running, they're saying he's just trying to act normal. Maybe he could shake him. But look at this guy running behind him, pointing at him. So they're all chasing him at this point. Now you got people approaching from this side. There's people all over the place, but these guys are apparently pointing at him. You see that? So then he comes back on the track. You see that? And he looks like he may be, let's see. It looks like somebody's walking with him, right? So they caught him. Somebody caught him. Look, he's holding. He has him. See? Maybe not. Let's see. There was Hooker. I want to see if this is Hooker. Hooker says that he put his arms around his shoulder. It looks like this might be Hooker, according to his testimony. In court, we didn't get a chance to see all of this video. They showed us 5 different angles. So today we're going to see some things probably that I have to try to see what's happening. Okay, so you can see him walking. There was a female white coach that her name was Tiffany. She says she stopped him first. That looks like that might be Tiffany. Yep, she gives him the hooker, and Hooker has his arm around his shoulder. And then Hooker says he walks away from Karmelo, and Karmelo doesn't try to run. So, see, this is where he was right. He walked away from Karmelo. Then he's going to go back to Karmelo again and grab him again. Watch it. Maybe this is Hooker. If he comes back and yep, that's it. That's courtroom testimony. He comes back and grab him, and he tells him, man, you messed up your life. You can see Karmelo crying and hugging him. This is all testimony in court. He just told Karmelo, you ruined your life if this man died. Karmelo says, no, he's not going to die. Karmelo didn't want to kill the boy. I don't care what you guys say. I'm over it. He didn't want to kill him. He was trying to get the boy off of him. He testified. But listen, this is courtroom testimony. I'm going to pull up Hooker's testimony because we're here for it tonight. So this all jobs to what I heard in court. So here we go. Vincent Hooper. Karmelo said the young man wasn't going to die. Okay, this is the guy. He testified. You're going to see the little white coach, right? She stops Karmelo right here. Okay. She says she handed him over to Hooper. He's a big black guy, he's 6'2", 240 pounds. That's him. He said he put his arms around Karmelo. I see it right here. Tiffany went on about her business. He said he left Karmelo and took care of something. Karmelo never tried to run. He said he came back, and that's when he told Karmelo's son, the first time he said, what did you do? So let me go back. So right now he's asking him, what did you do, son? And then he tells him, he hit me. I told him not to hit me. So that's happening probably right now. He's going to step away. This is Hooper's testimony. He steps away, and then he comes back and he grabs Karmelo, and then he tells him now, he's going to tell Karmelo that you ruined your life. Carmelo's saying to him right now, he's not going to die. You see Karmelo jumped, and he starts crying, and he hugs Karmelo. Karmelo is crying in the Hooper's arms right there. He didn't intend to kill the boy. All that's in court, okay? So for all you people that's talking all that jazz, what I tell you guys on my notes is true. I've lined up everything for you, and I don't care what these other people tell you. You can believe him if you want to. So then he walks with him. This is all courtroom test. I saw this guy, big black guy, bald headed guy, nice as can be. But he told Karmelo, you ruined your life. Karmelo broke down and he had to hug him. It's all right here on video. So this is why I'm doing this for you guys tonight, because I know nobody else know this type of stuff to give you the real story. So anyway, okay. So let's keep watching. And then the officer is going to come and get Karmelo. See, they have him under custody. You can see he has on okay. I mean, everything matched up. I didn't get a chance to actually see the video after. You see, Carmelo's crying and he's having a fit because he knows he screwed up his life. And this coach, who is a really nice guy, is giving him the business, saying, listen, man, you might be locked up. Look at that. Karmelo, this is in court. He goes down to the ground. He's crying. This is all in court, man. I don't understand these folks that just want to make up stuff. There's enough in this case without making stuff up. But this is the part I don't get. You guys can clearly see Austin. You don't need four guys. Austin was ready to give him the business and pick him up. Look at that. See Karmelo? Look at that. He's having a fit because he didn't think that Austin was going to die. So he went to his knees. Now he's like in this motion. He's going crazy. See that? And they're about to hand him off to the officer. And that's where we need the body cam footage. And usually I prepare. I was hoping that the body cam footage would be in this. I hope it is. If not, I'm going to have to find it for you guys. I want to go through this tonight as much as possible. I'm here for it. So you see, Carmelo's there. They're waiting on the police. I told you guys at 10:05, 10:05. Let me get my notes. 10:05 and 30 seconds. You're gonna see the ambulance and the police pull up, but that's what they're waiting on right now. And look at him; he's having a fit because he realizes. Okay, so there's the officer. It's 10:05. Now let me give you some Let me give you some details. This officer testified. Cortez. If you notice, I'm going to take you guys back. Carmelo, he's walking. He sees the officer, right? He's going to go to the officer. The officer is going to grab his hand and walk him because the gate is in the way. He's going to walk him all the way down to the opening of the gate. Okay. This is all courtroom testimony. And we're also going to have a chance to look at it on the body cam footage. I'm going to break that down for you too. I mean, everything is airtight. I don't get it. So look at that. He's taking that's the officer right there. It's 10:05 and 30 seconds. Right to my notes. See? That Carmelo puts his arm up. When we get the body cam footage, you're gonna see him say, "Put your arms up," right? He's walking him because because the gate was in the way until they can meet without any obstruction, you see? See right there. That's where the opening in the gate is, and they actually can meet and he can commandeer him right away. You see that? And this is Officer Cortez. He was witness probably number. Let's see, I think he was witness like number 4 or something like that. So anyway, they proceed to walk out, and they're going to take him to the car. If you have the police report, I have it. I'm going to break that down too, but not tonight. This has been a long day. But it's a good day because I'm so happy this video came out. It lines up. You get a chance to see that all this 4 guys walking up. I showed you guys when Austin got there with Hunter. I showed you guys as best as the video allow and with courtroom testimony. Carmelo came 2 minutes later. And then we sat around for 4 minutes waiting for the fight to happen. That's how this thing happened, folks. I don't know what people. Anyway, I won't get into all that, It's time to move on to a different case because it's just too much craziness. So when we get to Cortez, my notes on him, then you understand what's happening here. But you can see Carmelo, he sits him down. We're gonna see it on the body cam footage. So this video is almost over, and I'm gonna try to pull up the body cam footage. Give me 1 second here. But before we go, I want to show you guys again because I've been on this all week and people have been talking. And I said, I told Calvin, even Calvin, he's like, this boy was clearly not jumped. Anyway, you have to watch the video and come. I don't even want to give a narrative. You have to come to your own because I could see it till I'm blue in the face. Carmelo, when we watch the body cam footage, you're going to see what he says. Austin, he says I told him. He didn't say they. If Carmelo had said they, he probably wouldn't be locked up for 35 years because in the opening arguments, right? Opening arguments, they didn't mention him being jumped. I saw the video. Now you guys seen the video, right? Okay. You make out enough to see that Austin was on his back. Okay. Carmelo, we're going to watch the body cam footage now. He clearly says it's Austin. When he talks to Coach Hooker, he says, I told him not to put his hand on me. Okay? In the closing arguments, right? They could have came up with this whole theory. He was getting pounded by 4 boys. That would have went a long way for this case, right? I look for that as I sat in court every day, and it was just not there. So I'm going to have Calvin come on because he's an attorney actually in Dallas, and he can explain to you guys how you can't just look at a video and come to a conclusion. You have to look at all the witnesses and then come to a reasonable conclusion. And that's just how it works. It still doesn't take away from the fact that he felt his life was in danger with someone trying to pick you up, right? So anyway, we're gonna just stick to the facts here of the video. So I'm gonna go back here again. I want to show you guys. Let's do it a little bit different, okay? Because I already walked you through it. Let's do this timeline again, okay? So this is the actual 4K video. You see it's clear. That's why a lot of people are coming forward and they say, "Oh, we saw a clear video." But see, what we saw was the zoomed in version because look how far the tent is over there. So in court, the video expert, he actually explained that the video will become pixelated because we're zooming in. You can't see the quality, right? And so that's why a couple nights ago when I showed you the guy on News Nation, I'm gonna do this show again tomorrow, but I'm gonna be airtight and give you guys a great show tonight. I'm tired, but I just wanted to get this out there. He said the video was clear, right? So that's what he saw. This is the video from that the guys that they had a chance to see. But he says when they zoomed in, it was blurry, right? And that's what we saw in court. And not only that, in order to see it at its premium clearness, you have to watch it on a 4K TV. Okay. So we were in court sitting watching regular monitors, but it's blurred on any of these, right? So let's get to it. I want to show you guys. We're gonna just so here are the guys walking back, right? I showed it to you. Now I'm gonna just go through this for the people that came in here late. According to my notes in court, 9:54, Austin and Hunter arrives. 9:56, Mello arrives. That's not only do they say or show us it's at 9:56 when Karmelo arrived, which was 2 minutes later. They actually verbally said in the opening arguments, that he came 2 minutes later. Okay. After the guys arrived. So we're going to go to the video. I'm going to show you that. Here comes the guys right here. This is the whole group of Austin and his brother and some other guys. They all came in, most of them, and gave their testimony. Here they are coming back from the middle school, according to Hunter in the video, with his mother. Okay. And notice they're going to go and sit under the tent. Notice before they sit under the tent, you see how empty the tent is? Here's the problem. When a lot of people went to see the video at the Frisco ISD, I heard the lady that worked there was telling them, you guys see the darkness in the back corner of the tent? She was telling them, okay, that's Karmelo sitting right there. That's not Karmelo, right? That's not Karmelo, but that's how that muddied the waters because she was giving people commentary. I have the video where people said, yeah, she told me, pay attention right there because that's Karmelo. Okay. So check it out. You're going to see Austin, Hunter, and them go sit in the tent. See that? Three of them there. They're going to sit down. They're just living their lives. They're not going to surround some boy. And if what people are saying were true, then in 20 seconds right now, we should see a fight because that's what everybody's saying. They walk into the tent and then 20 seconds later, there's a fight. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You get my point? We should see a fight happening any moment now. There's no fight because they came to sit down. But what I am going to show you, Karmelo, it's about to be 2 minutes, and Karmelo is going to come in with his backpack and he's going to sit in that gap. And he's not even under the tent. So just hang tight. We're going to see 2 minutes later, just like in court, you're going to see Karmelo come and sit down. It's a shame I know this case so well, but I've been arguing all week, so now it'll forever be with me. And all it does is distract from the fact that the boy was trying to protect himself, and we're over here arguing. One day I'm arguing with the supremacists. The next day I'm arguing with the bros. Like, what are we doing? Why can't we just focus on Austin attacks this boy? We're gonna see it. He has no right to move the boy out of the tent. That's the bottom line. I don't care what anybody say. And you definitely can't go pick a boy up. So we're gonna see Karmelo come and sit down any moment now. Keep your eyes on the gap in the tent. Okay. There's Karmelo. You see him walking in, and he sits down. This is according to courtroom testimony. The video is of course, is blurred. Now it's blurred. Now keep in mind, when Austin get up to attack him, I want you to notice that that's exactly where Austin goes. Okay. All right. So now here's the part. I showed you guys Austin Hunter. They came to the tent. 2 minutes later, Karmelo came. Right. We have to sit here 4 minutes before the fight happens. What happens to the four guys who walked up and 20 seconds later they were beating his butt? It's just not there. Okay, so we would have to wait 4 minutes. You know what? I'm sorry, guys. We're going to do that again. We're going to wait the 4 minutes for the people that just can't come off this idea that they're not getting the point. So we got to wait for the fight 4 minutes to occur. Yeah. And so in court, and of course, people are going to be moving around. You know, there's no fight happening now. People are just living their life. The guy, Jason, said he was on Instagram, but they're arguing. And, you know, Carmelo is saying, you guys suck ass or whatever. And Austin told him, I'll beat your ass. You know, they're just going back and forth, back and forth. This kid, people probably say he's the hitman. This guy's there he's just living his life. He's at a track meet, probably hungry, trying to find some lunch money. These people are walking along, minding their business. They might be future husband and wife. Who knows, right? They're just walking, living. But look under the tent. It's chill, right? For 4 long minutes. And then you're gonna see Austin attack Carmelo. I showed you where Carmelo sat. So when Austin gets up, he's gonna go right to that spot. I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. This guy, he comes out, you know, people are saying he might be the whistleblower or something. You know, it just gets to be out of control. So we gotta wait. Okay, so now the girl comes in the yellow poncho. She's the sister, I believe, to Jay, and I believe the mother was the pediatrician for the twins. Okay. They testified that in court. These guys are walking. You see people on the field minding their business. Everybody's living their life. These guys over here at the gate, it's drizzling, raining. They're just living their life. Now, keep in mind, Carmelo School doesn't have a tent. You see the birds. Okay. You're going to see four guys walk by. They don't even go into the tent. They're just walking by. Look, all these people are just walking by. Notice this bottom level where Austin ultimately died. That's where these people are just walking. All right, so now we're getting close to the time of the fight. And notice the movement in the tent up until Austin attacks Carmelo. You're gonna see him. He's a big boy. He's like it's insanity, you know, the way he approaches it. It's probably not a great idea to go out here and okay, so we're getting to the fight. Look, check it out. You're gonna see Austin go right for Carmelo. It's only 5 seconds, folks. That's it. From the time Austin right here. Boom. He hits him. He goes back, and look how fast Carmelo's out the back of the tent. Come on now. What are we doing? And look, I'm gonna stop it again. I want you pay attention to this very carefully. Austin is the only one moving. It's consistent to what we learned in court. Now, there may be another video out there that people are saying that shows you something different. I'm not knocking that, but I'm just trying to give you. So watch this. Watch movement. We're going to take this click by click. People are sitting under the tent. There's 20 kids. The girls are at the bottom. They said one witness says the girls were also in the middle. Okay. Austin's gonna. You could tell he's a couple bleachers down. He gets up and he's gonna lunge at Carmelo and try to pick that boy up. You know, check it out. That's what Jalen told us how he grabbed him with two hands on his hoodie. He told us, like, what are we doing? What are you coming up with these narratives when there's enough in this case to show the boy had to try make now listen, using the tool that people want, the multi-purpose tool that has a knife, or as the prosecution said, a knife, whichever way you want to look at it, right? The defense said multi-purpose tool. Okay. Um, that's a whole different ball game. I would rather Calvin, a lawyer, really break it down, give you the real Texas deal. I don't want to start just telling you some stuff that I don't know the facts about the law in Texas. But check this out. You're going to see Austin attack him. And then some are saying Hunter punched him first. Like, how do you see all that? This is the clearest that anyone has. Well, I can't speak for somebody else. You're going to see Austin. This is what's broken down in court. Austin right here, boom. And then he goes back, right? Notice you could clearly see Austin in his movement. Now, forget about Austin. Watch all these other specs that are sitting here and notice the movement that's happening there as Austin is, doing a Macho Man Randy Savage on Carmelo, right? Just pay attention. Look at every angle. They don't move. Well, actually, I don't even want to tell you. I don't want to muddy the waters and tell you. I want you to see for yourself. Check this out. Look now. Focus on the people around. You see that? It's on the. It goes right, and when it goes left, these guys all scatter. That's what we learned in court. That's when they move. When Austin makes that first move on Carmelo, these specs are all just as quiet as a church mice. Right? Check it out. They're not even moving. Look at this. Hold on. Let me go back a little bit more. I know it's late, guys, but I had to get this out tonight because I think it's very important. Check it out. Boom. Austin. Now they move. You see that? I mean, God, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this stuff out. Look, I got to keep going through this because there's just so much chatter. Check it out. Watch Austin attack the boy. Boom. Now everybody starts moving. You see that? Let it play without stopping. I'm sorry. All right, here we go. But watch the movement. Boom. And then he goes and then they scatter. And then look how fast Carmelo's running for cover. And you see this guy, Nathan, one of the guys, Nathan, runs behind him. Then he stops and go back. and two of the guys keep following him, right? And he's booking it, but then one of the kids said he tried to blend in with the crowd. He's probably interpreting when he stops. You see that? And the little, I'm sorry guys to say it like this, the little white lady, the coach, just to give you an idea, she says she was the one that stopped him with her hand, but the defense attorney says, well, you testified differently that day. You say you grabbed him. But anyway, she stops him. You're going to see that. You're going to be able to see her identity. You can see that that's a woman, right? She's a little woman. You can see her long hair. And she handed him off to the big black coach. He's 6'2", 240 pounds. That was his testimony. Okay, we don't need to go through this again. But look, once he had Karmelo the first time, I'm going to go through it again. I think I have the right. Okay, so she testified. Her name is, I think it's Tiffany. Yeah. So I have her name here. I'll give it to you. So he said, "What you do, son?" He has his arm around his shoulder. And this right here shows you that the boy didn't intend to kill him, right? This is hard facts. I know you guys, some of you guys don't want to hear it, but you're gonna hear it tonight if you want to be here. Look, he lets him go. He testified. He got distracted. He walked away. Guess what? Karmelo never tried to run. He said he comes back, and now he's telling him. He says, "Son, you know, you mess your life up forever if this boy dies." Now, notice what happens here. Karmelo jumps up. He's crying or having a fit, right? Then he hugs Karmelo and tell him, "You're gonna be all right. You're gonna get through this." Carmelo's crying like a baby. Look at there. Karmelo puts his hand around him, right? He didn't intend to kill the guy, right? It's more like a manslaughter at best, and that might be questionable. All right, it's all here. So then he takes him and he's going to hand him off to the police. The police will arrive at 10 o'clock, 10:05 and 30 seconds. You're going to see the officer come in through the gate. He's going to come over here and grab. We already went through this, okay? So there you have it. I'm going to, as a last, I'm going to get to some of the comments, but bear with me for a second, guys. I'm going to remove that. Okay, where am I at? Okay. All right, give me a second. I'm going to try to find the body cam footage. Let me see if I can get the body cam footage. Here we go. All right, so we're in business. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna go through it. Notice what Karmelo says, and does he say if they attacked him or if it was a group? Wouldn't he say that, right? Um. Anyway, that's a whole different story. Okay, so here's the body cam footage. Remember, for those of you who really follow this channel, right? Remember I told you, and let me put this down for 1 second. Okay? I told you guys that on the body cam footage it said what? February the 10th, 2016. I wrote that in my notes. Now you get a chance to see it tonight, that I'm not just blowing smoke up your rear. Okay? I told you his body cam footage, and who else told you that? Nobody, because nobody else even noticed that point. So why does this body cam footage on the officer? On the officer, February the 10th, 2016. We want to know. It doesn't look good, right? There has to be a reason. They never explained that in court, but guess what? I caught it. So I'm not in court just twiddling my thumbs, all right? Don't reach for anything, all right, man? Stop right there. Remember, he grabs him over the gate. Remember, I just told you that? And then he has to walk him to the opening, right? I told you guys that over a week ago. So I give you all these details. It's beautiful when you can see it for yourself, and that I'm not just hallucinating and making up stuff just for the hell of it. Dispatch 443. I got these suspects, and they're currently treating the victim. Again, he's on the north end of the stadium. All right. Any weapons on you like that? I'll look here. He's walking him to the opening because the gate's there, right? You hear that? He put his hands on me, not they. He put his hands on me. He's talking about Austin, folks. So you can't just look at one video. You got to look at all the video. You got to look at all the witnesses. And also Dominique, who represented Karmelo, says what? He wasn't jumped. That's his representative, right? The guy that looks like Martin Luther King, the spokesman. He also said he wasn't jumped. Anyway, let's listen carefully to what Karmelo says. He put his hands on me. You hear that? Not they, not them. He put his hands on me.
Y'all back up a little bit. Come over here for me. Go over here. I'm gonna put your handcuffs for now, okay?
So finally, they get to the opening, right? And you guys can see it very clearly here, February the 10th, 2016. You mean to tell me they can't get better body cams? That's very important to get the time, right? What are they doing down there in Texas? I don't know. And the lawyer doesn't even talk about it. I think I'm the only person that picked up on it. You know, they don't even bring this up. I mean, the prosecution did say, the times are off here. That the prosecution even said that, guess what? The witnesses, you'll find that a lot of their stories don't match. But I spent 2 weeks already arguing with people because they heard Fox News and Nancy Grace and all these people say stuff. I'm in court, you know? Fox News says the blade was 5 inches. The blade, we clearly saw, was 3.5 inches. But by the time everybody heard from them, when I said, they say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about." Nancy Grace say, "Oh, it's 3 Hispanics on the jury." No, it wasn't. It was 1. I broke it down for everybody. But by the time that I said, they say, "Oh, yeah, you're just making it up because you like Karmelo." Yeah. But then by the end of the week, I'm arguing with the other side about him being jumped. We got to get focused.
Dispatch 443. Everybody can slow down. I got the alleged suspect in handcuffs right now detained. Hold on. You can open up the channel, and medics are clear to come in. Have them come to the northeast entrance. That's gonna be a gate that's wide open there, and then come to the victim from there. This is the alleged suspect. Okay.
All right, guys. So I told you guys 2 nights ago, I said he had on some dark blue jogging pants, and he had on some black and white Nikes. I guess they call them Chucks or something. I told you guys a few nights ago, and guess what? You can see it for yourself. See that? See, I write all these things down.
So nothing on your person.
See those Nikes? Right? There it is, right? Everything I tell you is right on point.
At all. Nothing. Mind if I reach in your pockets and stuff and all?
I even told you the officer has on a wedding ring. I don't even know why that's even important. I just write down what I see.
Oh, no, nothing. Stab me. Not bad. A little personal there, okay? Just to make sure. Okay. All right. The victim's going to be underneath that tent over there, so I'll get medics. Memorial tent over there, guys. All right.
He put his hands on me. Do you guys hear that? I mean, what do I got to do here? I don't think I could talk about this case again because I'm a little ticked off. He put his hands on me. Not they, not them. Jesus Christ, man. I swear to God. I told him not to. He put his hands on me, not them, not they, not the twins. He's talking about Austin. Let's hear it again. Does this sound like a guy that's a cold-blooded killer? Like he intended to just go there and take somebody out? But you know, a lot of people are going to say, oh, he's just faking, you know. But anyway, check it out. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
Guys. All right. He put his hands on me. I told him not to. He put his hands on me.
This is an altercation between two guys, right? He's told you, you got to listen to Karmelo. He's the guy. This is the only, we didn't get to hear from him in court. We get the body cam footage of him telling his story. It's a tough story. You see him hugging the coach. The guy is saying, he put his hand on me. I told him not to, not them. I hate to keep repeating it, but I have to. That's 3 times he said he. It would have made a big difference if his attorneys had came to court and said these boys jumped him and beat him to a pulp, and he stuck one of them and didn't even know who he stuck. That would have been a powerful argument, but we did not hear it in court.
Victim, we're on the north end. They got staff standing to him right now. This is the latest suspect. Already? No. We searched them. Got nothing. I don't know what happened. 413. Checkers in the name CBR process for a little bit.
When I bring Calvin on, I have another attorney coming on too. I want them to explain how they look at evidence from different angles, and you have to factor in what the witness is saying, what the victim is saying, what the assailant is saying, the officers. We have video footage of Karmelo telling what happened to him. All of that has to be factored in. We see Austin being aggressive and trying to pick him up and get him out of there. Whatever he's going to do with him, we don't know because of how the story ended. But anyway, it is what it is.
It's up to you. Let me do one more little check of you, okay? You don't mind for reaching your pockets, anything like that? You good? I'm wearing some little under. No, ma'am, I don't think so. What's your name, man? Karmelo Anthony. Karmelo. Have a seat here real quick, man. Watch your head. Let me check your hood here, buddy, okay? I'll tell you what, lean this way so you're not resting on your hands, okay? All right, see a little bit of blood on your hands there, okay? All right. So your first name is Karmelo? Let's see, hold on one second. I don't know yet, man. Karmelo, Caraka.
Okay, let's see. There's a point where Karmelo asks, is he going to be okay? I'm trying to see if this is the point. Give me a second. Because the officer says, I don't know yet, man. So I think this is when he asks, is Austin going to be okay?
Karmelo, Carmelo. Karmelo, what's your last name? Anth. And why? Where are you at? I'm 10th grade. You go to Emerson? Where do you go? Centennial. Okay. I'm in 12th grade. 12th grade? Okay. No, Centennial. All right, sit tight for me, okay, bud, all right? Let me run this guy real quick. I haven't talked to him at all.
Okay, so there's other body cam footage, or at least footage inside of that car, because there's some other dialogue that I heard in court. So I'll just have to research that to find out more. So anyway, I hope this helped you guys to understand what we saw in court. Anyone that was in court should be able to substantiate basically what I'm saying. I'm going to go through some of the comments, and we're going to call it a night. It's been a long day, but I wanted to come on. It's not my typical show, but it's information. Oh my goodness, a lot of comments. Let's see. I saw the word stupid, so I know this is going to probably be one of those nights. Let's see. Okay. Let's see if Carmelo can argue, stand your ground. Couldn't the guy he killed also argue it? Okay. Let's come back on Sunday night at 7. I think we're going to have a show tomorrow night too, but definitely Sunday night, 7 Eastern Standard Time. I have Calvin Johnson on. He can answer that for you. D. Cran says Mello went into the tent and the white guy didn't like it. Mello was protecting himself. Damn people, please wake up. Exactly, he was protecting himself. You would too if somebody tried to pick you up, okay? All right. He illegally fought back. Okay, that's fair. But we leave that for. I'm just giving you what was in court. Okay, Sean says going to be hard to get an appeal on ineffective counsel. He hired his attorney. Okay, thank you for that. Jay Davis says all the people with the umbrellas were pretending it was raining. Okay, they're in on it. It was actually raining. You can see the rain in the video. So if you go back and look at the video I played, you could actually see the rain. In fact, they moved the tent down too because, and also again, you have to hey Jay, you have to factor in testimony, even though people distort the truth sometimes. For the most part, you get a good idea that it was drizzling from both sides, the prosecution and the defense. It was actually drizzling, raining hard, drizzling. And you could actually go back and look at the weather that day if you really want to. Just Google it. It's very clear. Okay, Gravedigger says no, Austin was the aggressor. Okay. All right. Bam says no weapons on school grounds. Bottom line. I get it. I get it. But I also understand the bigger picture. Miguel says, I mean, it's clear this was murder. Okay. All right. Jen says, thank you. Mel, the entire situation is heartbreaking. Okay. Remedy says he asked Mel right before he started spelling his name. Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought so. Okay. But it's been a long day. I know in the court records it's there. So I know it was at that point when he was spelling out his name or something like that. But anyway, thank you, Remedy. I will drop the link tonight since I'm already up and I'm not even sleepy. We might as well drop the link in case someone wants to come up. You can. Okay, so I dropped the link. You can come up and ask questions. I'm here for it. As long as you're respectful. I also need to see your camera open in the back. And it's up to you if you want to come on screen with it or not. But I need to see that you're a real person and you have clothes on. We get some weirdos coming up playing porn and all this other bull. Not tonight. All right, so there you have it, folks. I hope you can understand the breakdown. But I get it, though. Okay, Calvin. Calvin, you want to come up? I didn't know Calvin was here. Shout out to Calvin. Man, Calvin, you up this late, man? Calvin, let me say, oh, my goodness. Let me send you the link. All right, we have the criminal defense attorney. Calvin, I'm taking that you want to come up, brother. So come on up. Man, that would be awesome to have Calvin come up. Let's see. Calvin, give me a moment, man. It's been a rough day. I closed on a big deal today. A really big deal. So it was stressful, but very rewarding. All right, let's see. Calvin. Here we go. Okay, shoot. What is this about? All right, Calvin, here we go. I'm sending you the link. Anybody else want to come up? You can come up and ask questions. All right, Calvin, you're all set to go. Come on up and talk about it because I'm done for that tonight. Oh, wow. Somebody gave a $20. Man, that made my day. Okay, thanks, Mel, for being honest, accurate, and non-biased about the Karmelo case. It's way too many black people lying about what didn't happen in this case, especially with yourself being at the trial. Excellent job. Okay, thank you. Calvin, come on in the building, man.
Man, what's going on? I know that my background there looks crazy. It's late at night, man. I'm not as
Nobody can.
spiffy as I typically am, man. But it's late. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Been working all day. Busy attorney. Listen, everybody. Me and Mel have had conversations today. Excuse me. I have a crazy tennis shoe fetish, but me and Mel have been talking about this today, and our concerns were that once some of this stuff started to get released, that there were going to be some issues. And like I said, when you watch this video as a defense attorney, what I see, and I definitely see where Austin comes over really fast toward Carmelo, and you can tell Carmelo is kind of probably sitting down based on how he gets up and gets out the back of that tent. And you can definitely see based on their bills that Austin is definitely bigger than Carmelo. I think a great argument could have been made for a manslaughter as opposed to a murder, and I think that could have been done. But I think that in the beginning, even before the lawyers were hired, I think that getting somebody else that wasn't a lawyer to go speak for you was a huge problem. Because remember, the reason why we number one got this video is because we're watching this video, and based on watching this video, you could tell he wasn't jumped. So let's quit. Let's quit. Cunning job here. Let's quit talking about that he was jumped. Okay, that didn't happen. In addition to that, we also know that he wasn't jumped because the family spokesman Dominic Alexander said he wasn't jumped. So once again, all that jump stuff, let's get out of that. But you can admit that Austin's a hell of a lot bigger than Carmelo. He's a linebacker. Carmelo's a wide receiver, a flanker, a slot receiver at best. And so you can definitely tell that he was a bigger, more imposing figure. And you could see a big rush or body. You can see a body quickly move over toward him. And then you can see Carmelo get out of there. I just think that there was a strong argument for I think there was just a strong argument for more of a manslaughter than a murder. I don't think Carmelo went over to that tent with the intent to kill Austin. Even if you have words with somebody, I don't think he set out to kill Austin. I think I think in the moment he made a very, very bad decision to pull that knife out. And I think Austin made a bad decision to go over and try to tussle with him after they had those words. But with that being said, you can't kind of do that over a push, even over a tackle. But with that being said, I think that there would have been a good argument made that in terms of who put their hands on who first, you clearly see that Austin put his hands on Carmelo first. And I think that as an attorney, you could make the argument for Carmelo that, hey, the victim actually put his hands on the client first. This is more of a manslaughter because to me, I'm going to make the argument that there had to be an intervening action before my client used the weapon, the tool, or whatever they want to call it against the victim. And so I'm going to argue for a manslaughter as opposed to a murder. And even with a manslaughter, your maximum is 20. And so I just would have argued that. Now, I'm gonna tell y'all, I don't think that he was going to be able to get a full self-defense and walk up out of there. I think that some people who think that was going to happen, as an attorney, I just think that that's a hard sell. And sometimes with your clients, you have to be realistic with them. Mel, sometimes you have to tell them, hey, man,
Yeah.
You got to be realistic in the situation. Let's try to get a lesser included, criminally negligent homicide, a manslaughter, because you want to minimize the amount of time that this kid is going to get because he's young. So if a kid gets 20 years and gets out in 10, he's only 27. If a kid gets 15, 7.5, he gets out, he's 25. So you don't want this to be something where he gets 35 and they make him do all of it because it's so high profile. And, you know, he's 50 when he gets out. You don't want that to happen. So you got to go in and try to sell it as something else. I also think it sends signals, right? When you go to a jury trial, even though that particular jury is going to say, well, maybe I haven't heard of the case. Well, you've heard something of the case to even be on a jury in Collin County, number one. And I think that when you go out and have that press conference and you go out and do some of the things, you raise all of this money and you do it so publicly. And then you get to trial and you sit there and you don't testify for whatever reason. And then you got all this stuff. You got all this stuff with the dad and the spokesman, and you got all this mess happening around the case because of Dominique and the dad and the people getting into it. I think those things are avoidable, right? They are avoidable. And they're avoidable because when you get your attorney, he's going to help you manage that kind of stuff. He's going to make sure that that kind of stuff doesn't happen. Because see, my whole deal is, as a lawyer, I want to worry about the case. If I'm working with you, and now I got to deal with you done got into it with the victim's family and whether they're wrong or right. We're not doing all that. That's not going to happen. I got to worry about this case. So all that outside stuff is not going to happen. So we need to hurry up, get to the case. We're not going to do all this other stuff. Mel, can Calvin give us a quick preview of what the appeal process is going to look like? The appeal process is basically file a notice of appeal. Now, the notice of appeal is to make sure that you let them know you got 10 days to file a notice of appeal. Not to file the actual appeal, but to file a notice. Typically, that happens on the day after you lose, or the day of you lose, or the day after you lose. You want to do that within 10 days, because if you don't do that, you lose your right to be able to appeal. Now, you're going to, after you file your notice of appeal, you're going to order a transcript. The stenographer is going to have to, and I'm sorry, y'all, I have to have a drink here. The stenographer is going to have to get that ready. It's going to take her a while. They're going to go through the transcript. Either you're going to do a pauper's affidavit, which means you can't afford an appeal lawyer. I think he did that, but I think maybe they hired somebody now. And that appeal lawyer is going to go through the transcript, and they're going to try to find areas of error where maybe in the jury process the judge made an error, or during the case where a objection was allowed, or some information was allowed to be able to be testimony in court and it shouldn't have been based on the rules of evidence, or one of the last lines of defense is ineffective assistance of counsel, or maybe you can even try to contest the actual verdict by saying, hey, there was proof of manslaughter. It was a manslaughter as opposed to murder. Sometimes you can try to go there. That's not typically very successful. But I think a couple of areas I think they're going to be is that the jury selection process, where they got rid of the 3 African-American women. I think that's going to be an issue, and they're probably going to try to go ineffective assistance of counsel. I know they're going to try to go there. However, and I will say this, when you look at this video, putting Karmelo up there would have been tough because of when you watch this video, putting him up there would have been tough. I know that, because he would have had to withstand a very thorough cross-examination. And for some reason, and I was saying this with Mel earlier today, there's something there in terms of why he isn't testifying. There's something there. There's something that the defense team is afraid of, in my eyes, that the prosecution might be able to really hammer home on him if he ever takes a stand, even in his own defense. So that's what I would be concerned with when it comes to that. But that appeals process, that usually they give you a certain amount of days, 60, 90 days, whatever. But sometimes you can get extensions because it's a big case. There's a lot of stuff you got to do. The stenographer is going to have to get the reports ready, or the transcript actually ready. And then you submit it. Now, everybody just thinks, well, this is the only case they're looking at. No, everybody who goes to a jury trial is appealing. Even cases from years ago are getting appealed the same as you're appealing your case now. So Karmelo has to get in line with everybody else. And so typically, It can be anywhere from 6 months to 2 years for him to get an answer. We just don't know when that answer is going to come down. And they could do a number of things. They could say, "Hey, we found error, but it's not reversible error, and the verdict will stand." Or we found error in the sentencing, and then they can make them go back and do a sentencing over. Or we found reversible error, and you can make them go back and do the whole case over. So those are the things that could happen. But like I said before, I just think that the issues here are, to me, I definitely would have went for more of the manslaughter as opposed to letting him getting him convicted of murder, because that range is so high. I mean, 5 to 99 to life, that's a mess. If I'm maxed at 20 or maxed at 2 years on a criminal negligent homicide, that's different, you know. So you got to be careful. I might not have the punishment range right. I have to go take a look. But with that being said, the lower the punishment ranges, that's what I want to make sure that I get him into those, so that I don't have to worry about the big range. Okay, I want to avoid the first degree felony at all costs, and I'm gonna let his family know, hey, I'm gonna give them a realistic assessment. But I think that when you go out there on that press conference and you have that conversation and things go south, I think you kind of dig your heels in. And I also think that you eliminate your ability to get a plea bargain. I think you eliminate your ability to be able to kind of, in a sense, be able to really say, hey, you know what? I don't want to go to trial and end up getting a murder conviction. I'll take a manslaughter, and I'll take 10 or 15 or 12 or something like that. Something like the other young men were getting that were convicted of similar crimes in Texas, right? So you have to look at that. And I'm going to tell people as well, when you look at that, a lot of people, oh, you just want, no, man, listen, this is a young man who has a long life to live. Do you want yourself put out there with the possibility of doing 20, 35, 45, 55, 65 years? No, man. You have to seriously think about that. He's actually doing that time. And a lot of us, I say a lot of us, but a lot of people in this world, they want to vicariously live their lives through him. But they're not doing the time. He doing the time. You're not doing this time. You're not doing a day. You're not going to put any money in his books. You might say a prayer for him when he went, but after that, you ain't going to think about him. So you have to sit down with that family and explain to them. And you have to be honest. And sometimes, as a defense attorney, is it possible that Karmelo was bullied before by the Metcalf twins? I don't know. But one of the things I think we got to really stick to is the actual altercation at hand. And the reason why I say that, and I'm not trying to be funny, everybody, listen, y'all, that video is going to be what the jury's going to focus on. We may feel like, well, we should focus on something else. No, when you get a jury in Collin County, that's what they're going to focus on. Whether you like that or not, whether we like that or not, I understand. Everyone gets off for killing us. Hey, I get that. And the problem is like everybody who, and me and Mel even thought about not even talk about this case as much, because everybody puts themselves in Karmelo's position, and they put these grand, why did they get away with it? Why do we have to do this? Why do I have to do this? And why are they always doing this? And why they always getting away with this? And why Karmelo Anthony's case is Karmelo Anthony's case. That young man's life is his life. Everybody can't put their expectations of justice on him. He has to seek justice in his case for himself, based on the decisions he made that day, based on what happened to him that day, and based on what he feels can move his life forward the best. A lot of us, because we live with this trauma of being in America and being mistreated, and we got Trump out here acting a fool toward us, and we got Kyle Rittenhouses of the world out here, and the George Zimmermans of the world out here. We got so much of that going on in our blood and our psyche and all that, that when we see something like this, we automatically jump to that. But is that fair to Karmelo Anthony? Is it? And I'm not trying to minimize what happened to Trayvon Martin, what happened to George Floyd. And I'm going to tell y'all something. Like, I've been blessed in this life, right? I interviewed Trayvon Martin's parents. So don't make me pull the receipts. Y'all didn't even know that. Y'all didn't even know that. I interviewed his parents at Essence Festival, like 2017. And I'm going to tell you, sitting with his father, his mother did most of the talking, but sitting with his father, black man to black man, I know there was a feeling there. And I can tell his father, there was some pain there. And there was some anger there. And we sat across from each other and we kind of nodded. And I know his feeling without even saying words. So I definitely understand the pain of their family and the pain of them. And Trayvon's mother, she's a wonderful lady. And his father's a remarkable man. But I'm telling y'all, that 17-year-old kid, he's not meant to carry our burdens. He may not be the one to carry our burdens. He's just trying to carry his own burdens. So when you look at this case, the concerns that I had, the problem I had is like everybody tried to make him carry their burdens. And that wasn't fair to him. It wasn't. He got some bad advice from the beginning. If I represent that young man, damn that press conference. We're going to calm down. Let me look at that video. Let me look at this. Hey, let me do what's best for you. That's what should have happened. But I think what happened was somebody made him into a martyr. Somebody got some attention. And that pisses me off. Because this 17-year-old young man just got 35 years. Might be 50-something years old before he get out. And the reason why I'm saying going to be 50-something years old before he get out, because you know they're going to be paying attention to him. And somebody turned him into a martyr. Is that fair to him? Even before he got a lawyer. It's not fair to him. So that's why we're having this conversation tonight. You got to actually look at that. You got to sit down with your client and say, hey, listen, let me look at the video. What was going on? What did you have with you? What did you bring with you? Why did you bring that with you? Hey, how did he come towards you? Oh, he did this to you first? Hey, you couldn't really have that. Couldn't really have that at track meet. You have those conversations with you can respond, but you can't respond like that. You got to tell your clients what you can and can't do, regardless of what the rest of the world wants y'all to or wants to do. Even as people watching my responses now, most of y'all don't like my responses. Y'all probably get mad at me about my responses. I wouldn't give a damn though. My responsibility will be to that young man, not the rest of y'all. So I would tell that young man what's best for him based on what we finna really have to go do. And that's my responsibility to him, not to anybody else. My responsibility is not to agree with the world or be popular with the world. My responsibility is to make sure this young man gets out of this situation landing as light as possible, not to make everybody else happy. And I don't think that happened here. I think everybody else turned into a martyr. Turned him into a martyr and wanted to get their get back in this case on his back. That's what I think happened. That's what I think happened here. And I always try to tell people, yep, Karmelo Anthony made probably a horrible decision that night, right? And I want y'all to understand this, right? I'm not making any excuses for him. 17-year-olds make bad decisions, right? Hell, at 17, I made some bad decisions. I should didn't get caught making some bad decisions. And some of these folks that are saying it's Karmelo Anthony's fault, he made some bad decisions. Your kids are making some bad decisions. And some of your kids are making bad decisions and getting off for making these bad decisions because they got privilege. And some of our kids don't get that same privilege when they make their bad decisions. Yeah, he made some bad decisions. I'm not excusing his bad decisions. All I'm saying is sometimes our bad decisions are costing us a little bit more than certain folks' bad decisions. And that's the truth. I'm not making excuses for Karmelo Anthony. What he did was wrong. But at 17 years old, that's what 17-year-olds do, especially 17-year-old men. Oh, they're going to make mistakes. 17-year-old white men, 17-year-old black kids, 17-year-old Hispanic kids. There were a lot of bad decisions made that day by both parties. And Carmelo's mistake was the biggest. And oh, he paid. And Austin paid with his life. Carmelo's going to pay with a lot of jail time. With that being said, kids are going to make mistakes. Nobody's taking up for him or making any excuses for him. That's just what that is. I'm sorry, y'all. I went on my little rant. But I'm ready to answer some questions. Who got questions?
Okay, so let's see.
Hopefully we can just agree and teach our kids better. Yeah, we can teach our kids better. And yeah, he killed somebody, he got to pay for it. I definitely understand that. Nobody's saying, like me, I'm not saying that he got to walk out of there based on what happened. No, I'm not doing that. All I'm saying is 35 years when I'm looking around and other kids are getting 12 and 15. No, I don't think you should get to 35 years. But I also think that the people around him failed him. And I also think that while they were failing him, I think it kind of, in a sense, disrespected the family of the person who died. And I'm just being real. They lost their child. Despite him putting his hands on Carmelo, they still lost their child. And I think that those mistakes by grown-ups compounded his mistake. And I think he got off to a bad start because some grown-ups made some decisions also that made things worse. I feel like the amount of lives in both communities was crazy, almost like someone was overstating this happening. Maybe people were everywhere with the facts. You know what? You're right. I agree with that. Sean Leslie, you're right. White folks and black folks were all over the map with this. We were doing too much. Bradley Champion, 1324. I get it. You're right. My kid never stabbed someone in the heart because he got pushed. I definitely understand that. I definitely understand that. And that's why I try to tell people, right? I'm not justifying what he did. And when somebody does something, they got to pay for it. But if other kids are paying 12 to 15 years that don't have any criminal history, he should be paying for that around that same amount too. That's all I'm saying. And murder is murder. But with that being said, I don't think he went to murder the kid. I think he made some really bad decisions. And I would advocate for another charge. I think it's very unfortunate. But with that being said, he killed Austin. I wish it wouldn't have happened. He has to suffer the consequences for that. And I definitely understand how everybody feels about it. It's very serious, because the reason why I say this is because I'm a parent first. We always go black, white, whatever. Listen, I have a daughter. If somebody was to stab my daughter in the heart, black or white, I ain't thinking about color at that point. You took my child away from me. And as I look as another parent, I look as another parent, whether I don't look at whether they're black, white, or brown. I look at the fact that they lost their child, because I know how hard it was to get mine here. So that is what it is. Now, a lot of us are always looking at the racial angle, black and white. We're using that a lot, but it's just really, really bad. Wait a minute, it's unfortunate. Split-second decisions by both teams in this, and you're right. Some split-second decisions by both teenagers ended up costing both of them, and that's, for me, that was really, really bad for me. That's what I thought about that. Sometimes you have it rough as a black person. As a white person, I went to 15 different schools before I was 12. I definitely understand that. Look, sometimes it's not color. Sometimes it's money. It's economics, right? I always tell people, poor white can feel the same as black sometimes, because of what you have to go through. I was 17 and stabbing somebody wasn't blurred to me when right and wrong came up. Yeah, I definitely understand that. I definitely understand that. But I always tell people, yeah, but at the same time, that is what it is. The culture failed him. I would say yes in a sense, but I also say that he made some really bad decisions that day. Bringing a knife in, or the multi-purpose tool in, and maybe even being over there. People can say, yeah, wow, he was brain. He can go over there. He can go talk to his friends. Hey, I get that. I come from an era where we didn't even go, like, if we getting ready to run against you, we're not fraternizing. I'm trying to beat you. Even if I know somebody on the other side, listen, in high school, me and my best friend, who's my best friend to this day, we didn't play on the same basketball team. When we played against each other and we were on that court at the same time, I ain't look at him. I looked at him like he was the enemy. When we was between them lines, we was between them lines. I was trying to beat him, he's trying to beat me. And that's my best friend, my dog. But that is what it is. We just don't go over there like that. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not blaming him for going over there, but today's kids, they do little stuff different. I wouldn't have went over there. I just don't. Look, that's their school. I think coaches need to start being like that. When you're competing, keep your kids over there and keep our kids over there. Where was the coaches at anyway? Where were they? They should have been supervising this anyway. Some coaches should have been in that tent too as well. You know? And I said, no one talking about him not supposed to be in that tent. Okay. I don't know if that's a positive comment or not. But in any event, when I was in high school, we didn't go in the tent. We stayed on our side. We didn't go sit in their side. We stayed on our side. What else we got going here? Go to another comment, Mel. Like, we can argue to a blow in the face, but these two ninjas that made horrible decisions, unfortunately. You're right. You're right. They made horrible decisions. His parents spent the money. That's a whole nother conversation within itself. And I'm going to tell y'all something too. I'm going to go back through this with y'all, right? People are going to talk about that money. I'm going to help y'all out. The reason why I say I'm going to help y'all out is because I think when that press conference happened, I think it triggered some things. Man, I did this breakdown, right, of what I thought, what happens when that press conference happens. And that's why you don't do the press conference. I think, and I'm going to go through this again. When you do a press conference, the whole world sees your son's face. They see your face, see mom's face. Dad was selling cars. Now everybody knows who you are. So guess what? Dad was selling 20, 30 cars a month. Now they know his face. Cars were getting to the financing department, getting ready to close, selling the deal. They realize who he is. They get the financing, deal fall apart. Dad went from selling 20, 30 cars a month to one car a month. Now he's fired. Now he don't have no way to make any money. Plus everybody is kind of following him around. They know who he is. Start calling up the mom's job. Everybody know who mom is now. Now she can't get any work done. Now she's losing her job. Now, in the community that they're living in, everybody know who they are. So people kind of randomly walking up, knocking on the door. They're hearing stuff at night. It's dangerous. Now you got to move in a gated community because of what your son did, because he's home and there's so much attention on the case. That's why you don't do that press conference. Now you can't work. Now you got to live in a safe gated community. Now you need money. So now you're raising that money. Now that money's coming in, not only are you needing it to live, now you're getting used to it. So yeah, the money comes in. But once again, that's why in the beginning, you handle it differently. As a father and a mother, you won't have to show your face. But somebody handled that wrong in the beginning. And that is the so-called multi-purpose tool, isn't it, Mel?
Yeah.
Kayla, still waiting on proof he killed somebody. BS. Hey, if you can't understand that Karmelo said he did it, that he basically said he did it. I mean, that's what self-defense is. So when I tell people that's what self-defense is, self-defense is saying I did it, but I had a reason and justified it. That means you killed somebody. He said he killed him, so it's no doubt about that. Bullying has consequences. Yeah, it does. If somebody pushes you, hits you, you get to push them and hit them back. Consequences of bullying is not death. And let's be real, that's what we got to do about that. I mean, we got to talk about that. Why does it have to be white folks or black folks? And it shouldn't be. And it shouldn't be. And unfortunately, once again, when I say there has to be consequences for bullying, right, Mel? Do you see that comment?
Yeah.
It's not up to us to project how we feel about that on Karmelo for him to have to go through all of this stuff, right? For us, for him to be, for that to be on his back. Nah, that's how you feel. But it gets projected on him and he's a 17-year-old, and now he has to deal with everybody's comments and their projections and their expectations. And I don't think that that's right. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Calvin defended me in my first case, William Roberts. I think I remember you. What's going on, my man? I think I remember him. What's going on? Y'all remember William. Yeah, so till we are blue in the face, but it was just unfortunate decisions about poor people. Hello, Moto. I'm glad you were up, man, having that conversation. Great. The mob blamed the kid who was murdered, made K.A. the victim. You know what? I'm going to tell people, you got to be careful when you do that. That press conference kind of made it look like that. I would have had Carmelo be very quiet. There would have been no press conferences. I would have had him lay low. I wouldn't have pushed any narratives. I would have kept everything quiet. And I would have strictly did the case. I wouldn't have had any press conferences. So we were being based on what we're told is a push and spark the stab. So maybe Melissa is crazy then, or the story is not adding up from the jump. You can clearly see it was some kind of push or football move or tackle, but there was some, and it was probably some hard push because that boy looked like he was moving fast. He was a big boy. Carmelo was small. So you could tell there was probably some heavy, harsh push or tackle or some football move or something that went pretty bad under that tent. So that is what it is. The fact the family showed no remorse is what got him tired of people play stupid games and get stupid prices. I think that you're saying it like that. So this is what I tell people. That's part of the reason why I'm not having any press conferences and I'm not having all this stuff happen out there. As the family, I would have been apologizing for what happened, or at worst, I would have been silent. I wouldn't have been making any comments. I wouldn't have been pushing in any narratives. And I think this thing took, in today's world where you can raise money with GoFundMe and Go Give Sins, I think that's a problem. And I think that's where the problem is. I don't think you should be doing that. I think it puts everything in a bad light. The whole system in Texas court is crooked. Look at the judge's background, and he quit today. Do y'all really want, Mayor, you want me to go ahead and answer that?
Yeah. Go ahead.
And as far as the judges quitting, no, he did not quit today. I'm a Texas attorney. I had court today out in Collin County, Texas. I actually had court in that court today. He was doing Veterans Court today. He is not quitting. I think from what I had heard anyway, earlier before he was assigned this Carmelo case, he was going to retire at the end of this year before the Carmelo case. So he's not going to retire until the end of the year. I'm a Texas attorney. You know, you can't really argue with me on that. I was at court today. Actually had 2 cases in that judge's court today that I had to go out there for. And he was actually doing Veterans Court today. So he hasn't quit. We got to be real careful about the rumors that we're putting out there. Like that rumor is a false one. The picture that said the judge, Austin's dad, and the DA, that picture's a false one because those people are not in the picture. The false rumor that the defense attorney and the Bill Werski picture, the defense attorney's in the picture, but Bill Werski's not in the picture. And see, those things are false. And please do not come on here to argue with me about those things. If you're not from Texas and you're not a Texas attorney and I don't know you, please do not try to come here and argue with me on those things because I'm a 24-year Texas practicing attorney who primarily the first 2 counties I went to practice law in was Collin County, Dallas County. So I know how all of these people look. I know their courtrooms. I know why they're doing what they're doing. So let's really be serious about this. Let's quit spreading these rumors, man. I mean, we look a hot mess out here, and I'm talking to my people. Like a lot of this rumor spreading about these pictures and this foolishness. Let's not do that. Like it looks terrible. It looks like that we're out here like shock jocking or something. It's just like some of the pictures and some of those rumors. And I opened up something this morning. Oh, judge quit, judge retired, judge abruptly quit, judge quit today. No, he did not. I was in court today. I saw him in the courtroom talking to the veterans. Matter of fact, I had to go to a magistrate's court to do to my plea because he was in there talking to the veterans. So those are the things that I just look at and go like, man, you know? So it is what it is. Congratulations on an amazing career. Thank you. Thank you. Listen. 24 years. Why didn't Judge Roach recuse himself after his wife and Jeff McCray saw a photo together? What photo? Jeff McCray and what photo? What photo were they on together? And see, this is where I try to tell people they're not on a photo together. His wife and Metcalf are not on a photo together. See, this is why we got to be careful, y'all. Like, listen, and I'm not taking up for him or them at all. But when I see somebody put a picture out there that I know that's not that man on there, like, what are we doing? Like, I want, if we're going to do something, let's do something on something that's real. Don't be putting stuff out there that's fake, and then we look foolish. If you're being attacked by 4 men, you have every right to defend yourself or whatever means necessary. True seeking. We watched the video, my brother. There was no 4 men attacking him. Not only did we look at the video and you can see that there's not 4 men attacking him, his spokesperson said he was not being jumped. The spokesperson said he wasn't being jumped. So y'all stop. Let's stop doing that kind of stuff. See, that's what I'm talking about. We sit up and we make statements like that. That's the kind of stuff that makes us look foolish. Let's look at, on appeal, let's look at stuff that's going to get you resolved. Look at how the jury was picked. Look at some of the objections. Look at maybe the defense attorney. Look at how they came to a murder conviction as opposed to manslaughter. Look at maybe some of the evidence that was admitted. Look at some of those things. Try to get something that you can actually get an appeal on. Quit going into stuff that's not going to get you anything. You know, I was on a podcast with some young ladies the other night, and they started to get mad at me because I would not agree with things that they thought were important. And they began to kind of get really agitated with me. But I don't give a rat's ass. I can't worry about that because I cannot spend my time. Look, I've been doing this for a quarter century, right? I don't have time for that. I am not going to waste my time on things that are not going to help the client. If it's not going to help the client, you bring it up, I'm going to tell you the truth. We're going to move on. Jury selection, some of the objections, maybe some of the evidence that was omitted that we don't think should be omitted, maybe the way that they came to a murder conviction as opposed to a manslaughter conviction. You can try ineffective assistance of counsel if you believe you were not given the opportunity to testify or the admonitions properly. You use those things to your advantage, but all of this stuff that's not going to get you any resolve. If you're going to have a conversation with me on a podcast and you're going to bring up 7 or 8 or 9, 10 things and you ask me about them, I say, nah, that's not really that important. I don't think you're going to get any resolve from that. But you continue to think that's going to be important. You can do that, but it's not going to change how I feel about it because it's not a feeling for me. It's because this is what I do. I'm responsible for telling people, hey, if they're watching a podcast and you bring up something that's not going to get them resolved, I have to say it. When you bring up something that, in this case, that they may be using in their case, and I'll tell them, that's probably not going to get them anything out of it. So I can't agree with you because they may take that information and go try to use it in their case and be like, man, that Calvin don't know what he's talking about. So I cannot agree with you just because you don't like, just because you think it is and you don't like what I'm saying. Like, doesn't matter to me. I mean, I have to do this. I'm not here to debate it with you. Some other folks come over here, you can debate with them. Me, no. We can have a difference of opinion, but the law is the law. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. You just got to do it. It is what it is. Yep, bringing a knife, burnt his biscuit. That was a problem. That was a problem. Did he grab him? Let's break this down. And I'll say this. And no disrespect to Austin. Yeah, he went over there and put his hands on the boy. Shouldn't have done that. Does that deserve him to get stabbed? No, it does not. But Austin definitely put his hands on Karmelo. That shouldn't have happened. But does he deserve to get killed for it? No. Let's be real.
What if a guy's going to pick you up off the ground?
Hey, I definitely understand it. You got to get him off of you.
On the bleachers, on metal bleachers.
Exactly. That you got to get him off of you. But a stab to the heart's kind of tough. And listen, Austin was huge. He was afraid. Nick Pooh, I get you. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said more of a manslaughter as opposed to murder. I think you can make that argument. But that's why I put Karmelo on the stand. I said, hey, even if I can't get him to convince them that that I had the right to stab him, I still want the jury to see that, hey, Austin was bigger than me. I was afraid. He's picking me up on these metal bleachers. I have seizures. I'm 140 dripping wet. He 220. He a linebacker. I'm a slot receiver. He can slam me. They could have gotten that boy ready to say those types of things, right? Maybe if he goes up there, then there's evidence for what? A manslaughter. One of the reasons why I want him to testify, because what? If he testifies, what does that become? Now, part of what? The record, right?
Yeah.
And in the record is what you use to do what? Appeal. So now I got my guy on the record explaining to them I was scared. He was going to slam me. I'm sitting down. I got seizures. You know, you can say those things if you put him on the stand, you put him on the record, he says he's afraid. He got his bigger guy coming at him, putting his hands on him. You can at least say that. Now, doesn't justify the murder. Doesn't justify stabbing him. But is it a murder? Maybe it's manslaughter. Maybe something else. Anyway, can color be thrown out as opposed to appeal due to cover up evidence and edited video footage? This is what I'm trying to tell people, right? Mel, you sat there. We sat and watched it. If you've been watching the show, the video's right there. It's not edited. It's right there. It's not the best quality because it's raining. It's not the best quality because of the direction it was coming from. The video's right there. I mean, it is what it is. It's not edited. It is what it is. I mean, the guy, you can see the boy. If you're gonna edit it, then you edit out Austin running over, putting his hands on Karmelo. If you're gonna edit it, doesn't that make sense to you? Come on, y'all. I understand what everybody's saying, but the reason why they released this video because they probably tired of all that edited talk and all that foolishness that goes out on the internet. Listen, everybody. This is what happened. He's sitting over there. They probably having words. They literally going back and forth. Austin and everybody's probably tell that boy to leave. And Austin decides he's going to do something about it and probably going to try to make him leave. They probably had words. And then you can definitely see Austin's bigger than Karmelo. And you can see Austin rush over toward Karmelo. Austin's bigger than Karmelo. And then that's probably where everything happened. But you can definitely tell Austin put his hands on the man first. Doesn't deserve to be stabbed. Doesn't deserve to die. But that definitely happened. So with that being said, he's bigger than him. I think that you put him on the stand, tell him you're afraid, tell him he's bigger than you. You tell him that you thought he was going to slam you. Try to get a manslaughter. That's what I would have done. That could very well be true. What if he didn't have it? He had an attitude, his words were incendiary. There was no way he was scared. I always try to tell people, words are incendiary, but when somebody 220 pounds come at you and you're $140, yeah, it is what it is. His attorney suck. Hey, that's how it is sometimes. He was saying nobody gonna do shit, and y'all saying he was afraid. Hey, it is what it is. Carry your word of man who went to the police department and seeing the video before the trial even happened. Or a man who went to the police department and seeing the video of the trial. Okay. I don't know what he's talking about with that. I don't know. So let's go back. Let's go back. What somebody say? Somebody went to the police department and see the video before the trial even happened. What man are they talking about? Somebody went to the police department to see the video before the trial even happened. Let me tell you why that didn't happen. What person went to see it? If they're on the internet saying they went to see the video before the trial happened, so if they did an open records request for the video before the trial happened, let me tell you what happens. Let me tell you what the city of Frisco or Plano or what those folks are going to do. What they're going to do, they're going to say to any public records request, there's an attorney general ruling that says when something is getting ready to go to trial, they can deny you your public records request because it's still under investigation and it's getting ready to go to trial, so they don't have to show it to you. And I'm pretty damn sure, typically, that Frisco and that particular agency did not just show that man that video, knowing that hadn't went to trial yet. So if they showed it to him, come out and tell us when you went over there, to name the detective who showed it to you, tell us the date you went over there and saw it, and we'll just go verify. They got cameras in there. But saying you went to see it before the trial happened, you're talking to a real lawyer. I know how it works. So it is what it is. There were not metal bleachers. It was a tent. There could have been each other throwing their hands. Listen, I don't know, like, Marcus, are you from Dallas? I hope you, Marcus, you from Dallas? Okay, I'm gonna help you out. Yeah, they metal bleachers. Yeah, because I've been over there before. And yeah, because my nephew is a coach. It has actually coached both of those kids when he was at either school. And yeah, that particular stadium is metal bleachers. They put the tent over the bleachers. Are you from Dallas? Have you ever been out there? Come on, y'all. And you can see it's metal bleachers out there. I mean, we just watched the video. The video is not clear of Carmelo entering the tent after the twins. I just watched a video showing group walked right into the tent. And okay. Okay, here we go. What video you watched? I mean, show us what video you watched of a group walking in confronting Carmelo. And I'm gonna tell you that they didn't, because Dominique Alexander himself said that Carmelo didn't get jumped or confronted by a group. He said it himself. He's a spokesman. Y'all quit doing that. And that's what I try to tell y'all. We need to quit. And it's not an anti-Carmelo take. Let's quit playing games with this case. We just sat down and we did a watching video so that we can actually have a conversation about it. Won't answer, engage not one time with the light-skinned guy in the chat. Huh? This is more lies and BS. He's a murderer and should have gotten life. Man, I always try to tell people what I do as a lawyer. I don't engage with some people. I just feel like some people are they're to troll. I mean, my whole deal is everybody's not meant to be engaged with. Some people are there to troll. Some people are just there to try to agitate folks, and I just don't buy into that. I'm not here to have either particular side's back when it comes to that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, as a defense attorney, I would have tried to get him a manslaughter. And that's what I'm trying to do. As far as engaging with somebody who wants to troll, I don't have time for that. People who try to engage with people that are trying to troll, it's kind of small-minded. I don't have time for that. I don't need to do that. I've been doing this, like I said, almost a quarter century. When you've been doing this a quarter century, you ain't got to engage with people. Because number one, trying to engage with me, you're probably just gonna, you're probably gonna end up agitating. You're probably gonna lose that conversation. I'm probably going to be pissed off at the end of it. So why would I want to do that with you? Doesn't make sense for me. All Carmelo had to do was turn around and walk away, but he couldn't do that. I always try to tell people, if you look back, knowing that we know now, he probably would have wanted to, because this is a mess for him. Getting 35 years for this, that's a tough situation for that young man. So everyone else can be in fear for their life, but our black sons can't. No, he could have been in fear, and that's probably part of the reason why I was trying to tell people he should have came in. I would have had him testify. I'd have said, "Hey, man, we're gonna put you on the stand. I want you to tell them how you felt in the moment." And that's one of the reasons why I had him testify, because I felt like, hey, I want him on the record. But I also think that maybe there's something of why maybe he didn't testify. Maybe they felt like he couldn't handle the pressure of testifying, or maybe there was something there. He is completely right to defend himself. Thank you. He didn't deserve to be attacked. Hey, he can defend himself. You're right. But in Texas, they have the law of proportionality. Somebody tackles you, somebody hits you, somebody pushes you. You have to do a non-lethal response. You can't use a lethal response. A lethal response is a gun, knife, billy club, sharp objects. You can't use something that can be lethal. And that's just what the law is. You might not like what I'm saying, but you can't respond that way. That's just the truth. It's not self-defense. He never tried to walk away. You don't have to walk away. In Texas, you ain't got to walk away. Somebody pushes you, you can push them. Somebody pushes you, you can hit them in the jaw and knock them down with your hands. Somebody pushes you, you can't stab them. But you ain't got to walk away. He got found guilty with a flawed system and lying witnesses, and his defense failed him. I think his situation is for more of, in the beginning, he probably, I wish, if I'm looking at a situation, if I'd have met him and his family before, there'd be no press conferences. I'd have sat down and had a real conversation with him. I'd have broke down the law to them, because as an attorney, I got to break down the law. I would, of course, allowed them to make whatever decision they needed to make, but I would have told them what the likelihood, non-likelihood of certain things happening. But I definitely would not have wanted him to have to go to trial on a murder. I would have tried to angle for a manslaughter some kind of way, but I wouldn't have allowed him to have a press conference, and there wouldn't have been a back and forth with that man's family earlier. That wouldn't happen. $162. I'll tell you why they list the playing way higher. In high school, all the 5'10" point guards were 6 feet tall. I'm 5'10", 5'11". I was always listed as a 6 feet point guard, because that's for recruiting purposes. So all of the 135, 145 pound slot receivers are 162. So they always do that. They're gonna make you a little heavier, and for basketball players, they're gonna make you a little taller. Everyone knows Carmelo's guilty, and all racist fools are defending him. I always tell people, maybe he's guilty of something. Maybe that's not murder. Something. Maybe that's not murder. Maybe it's not getting 35 years. I think 35 years is a little harsh. When I've seen people, like in Waco, some of the situations get 10, 15, 12. So you just validated the appeal approval. I try to tell people, listen, there are opportunities for him to get an appeal, but you have to be realistic. He's not going to get completely off of this, y'all. That ain't going to happen. I think that's not realistic. I think anybody who came to him and tried to tell him that was foolish. I think you got to be real. You got to be honest with him. You got to tell him, hey, man, that response was not the proper response. What you want to do is try to mitigate that. You want to try to get a lesser charge. Try to make that happen. Melo wasn't under consent, so leave from where, and then had no authority to make him leave or put hands on him. Melo wasn't under detent, so leave from where, and they had no authority to pick. He was under detent, because you can see him get up from under detent and go back up on the metal bleachers. I don't know if he just came in, but we just watched the video, so That's the other thing. Like, listen, let me break something down to you. I mean, everybody be in the feelings, be in your feelings. That's cool. But if you're gonna come in here, man, know the stuff. We just watched the video. Video got released. It's on video. The group in front of him, not jumped. Okay, whatever. So there we go. Go. Who else? Go to the next one. I just don't get how Austin can tell Karmelo that he don't belong there if Karmelo wasn't under the tent, under the school's tent. He's under their tent. Does he have a right to tell them to leave? Probably not. Can't tell nobody what to do. I get it. He shouldn't want to put his hands on them. I get it. You just can't stab nobody in the chest because they touch you. You just can't. That's not gonna fly. But with that being said, like I said, but I also think that there was more of a. It wasn't just a push. I think it was more of an aggressive tackle. And when you outweigh somebody about 50, 60, 70 pounds, and you bigger than somebody, you got to be careful because you're a big guy. You know, I always tell people when you are a bigger guy, you got to watch yourself. I remember one time, and it's crazy, right? Give you an example. My nephew, that same nephew who coaches out in Frisco, who actually coached Karmelo one year and then Austin the next. He was at the state fair, and I was walking around, wasn't doing anything to anybody, and some group of kids that was close to him did something, and then they took off running. He kept walking, but he's the biggest kid because my nephew's like 6'8", 6'9". The cops tackled him, and he ended up with a lump on his head. And the reason why I tell you that is because, you know, it's one of those things when, you know, people pay attention to you. You're a big kid. You're a big guy. And so when you're a bigger person, you really got to watch what you do, who you're around, because when something happens, you're a target. And so when you're a big guy and you put your hands on somebody, people will get intimidated because you're a bigger guy. You're bigger and stronger than everybody else. So you got to be really careful when you touch on folks. That's why I said you got to be careful when you do that. You doesn't deserve to die. Nobody deserves to die but touching somebody. But when you're bigger than everybody else, you got to be careful. 35 years, I'm seeing worse in life because he will not have easy transition back to side after 35 years. Hey, that's tough. It's definitely tough. The different boundary channels that I've watched is interesting. Same video, different perspectives. I try not to have that kind of stuff. I'm just speaking as a defense attorney. I'll tell you that as I come on. People know what I do. I just have a real talk about it. A lot of people come on with this racial stuff. Like the other guy, tell them, well, you won't debate the light-skinned guy. Nah, I don't have time to debate you. I do this for a living. If I debated you, you're probably going to end up upset with me at the end of it because you're probably not going to win that. Calvin and Mel, just wanted to say I'm sorry y'all have to read so many ugly comments. Thank you. You know what? I'm going to tell you something. Me and Mel been doing this for a long time. We see a lot of ugly comments. That's just what the world is. We're here to provide y'all with opportunities to listen, to learn. And we know that's kind of what the world is. I mean, everybody's going to have a slant on it. Everybody wants to bring their personal experiences to this situation. You know, I have been subject to discrimination. I know Mel has before in his life. I've seen other people be subject to discrimination, but I have to be real careful about how that affects me. But I'm also aware that everything isn't racism. A lot of stuff is racism, though, but everything isn't racism. But what I try to tell people, man, you got to be a human being first, and you have to have empathy for even people who you don't like. And as a human being, I don't do what I do, and I don't have empathy based on you having empathy for me. I have empathy based on the kind of person I am. I don't do anything based on what somebody else does, because I am who I am based on who I am. The four in the video kept walking past the tent friends. It was a one-on-one disagreement that ended horribly. Calvin facts, hindsight is 2020. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not saying that, for me, I'm not saying that it was somebody jumping him. I'm basically saying that Austin went over and probably either tackled or pushed him violently. That's what it seemed like he probably did. And then That's probably what led to Karmelo reacting, and he definitely reacted wrong because you can't stab nobody. But there's no hindsight 2020. I'm calling it what it is. I don't think nobody jumped him. I just think that he's a smaller kid, a $140. The other kid's about 220. The other kid got up, went over there. He bigger than him and went over there and probably rushed him. And then things went bad. You really think that his intent was to kill a man? I don't think that his intent was to kill the young man. I think he probably was going to just get him off of him. But with that being said, when you bring a knife and you stab somebody, man, hey, there still is the argument that he could have been meaning to do that for some people, because some people will say, well, you don't bring a tool or a knife and stab him in the chest if you're not trying to kill somebody. That if people gonna make that argument, if you want to, that's fine. So wait till you're permanently injured or close to death to defend yourself. Nope, Gravedigger's not saying that. What I'm telling you is, Gravediggers, if somebody pushes you and you stab him in the heart, your ass going to jail. If you have a good excuse for doing it. That's just that. You hire me, you hire anybody else, your ass going to jail. You better have a good excuse for doing it. And if you're gonna do it, testify. Tell us why you were scared. Tell us what you were feeling in the moment. Tell us why you were scared. Tell us why you had to stab him. That's all I'm saying. Because that's what the law is. The law is non-lethal versus non-lethal. If you do something non-lethal to me and I do something lethal to you, I got to explain it. I can't sit there the whole trial and say nothing. That's how that works. Horrible line. Every witness, even for the defense, said he was the aggressor. Who was the aggressor? Who was the aggressor?
Karmelo.
Who was the aggressor? What do
That's
you mean he
what
was aggressing? I don't have to listen to those witnesses like that. I'm watching the damn video. You can see that the boy, you can see in the video that Austin goes over and rams him or pushes him or jumps over there really, really fast. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can have your opinion about it, but I know you just probably jumped on. We just watched the video. So it's not a situation where I'm making excuses for either side. I'm calling it what it is. Hello, Mel. Do you see the call 911 person next to the person calling and said Austin was trying to move Karmelo? We don't even have to have that. We watched the video. You can tell that the boy was over there trying to. We watched the video, Mel. You see him quickly move over toward Karmelo. We don't need a 911 call. We saw it. It was a hate crime. It was premeditated. Nah, it ain't premeditated, man. When the other person have to make the first move, the first physical move, you ain't premeditate nothing. So if you want to believe that and you've been watching Fox News all day, then so be it. But that just didn't happen that way. That's part of the reason why when we read these comments, man, we're ready for all the smoke. That's just what it is. But that's what people do. And that's the thing. That's the world that we live in, right? And I think that's the kind of legs that this case took, right, Mel? It took a racial legs, and it probably shouldn't have took those racial legs. We needed to really focus on what happened. And for Karmelo's sake, I know he probably wish he wouldn't have took the racial legs, because he could have just did his case based on what he needed to do for himself. I think people made it more racial for him, and I don't feel like he should have had to carry that water. And I don't think he was prepared to carry that water. And I don't think he should have had to. And I think that he was pushed. I think he was taken advantage of. And I think people pushed him to be the face of that narrative. And that really bothers me. And we're going to talk about that on another show one day.
All right, good deal. All right. You want to give us some closing statements?
This is a closing statement I'm going to give y'all. We have talked about this Karmelo case until we're nauseated about it. We probably won't talk much more about it. We're going to wait for the appeal to come down. I'm glad a lot of the evidence was released. I'm glad the video was released, because we have been arguing with people about him being jumped. There's been a lot of lies that have been told about the case. There's been a lot of people saying, or people just coming up with their theories about how he was jumped, how he was surrounded, how he was packed out, pounded out. Everybody has their ideas about this case. And the most unfortunate part is that 2 young men died. 2 young men made some very bad decisions that day. One young man made a bad decision to go over there and push and tackle the young man. The other young man made a horrible, worse decision by trying to stab him with a knife. And then a bunch of grown-ups made some really bad decisions. And I say grown-ups made some bad decisions when you have press conferences and put that young man's life out there like that. And now the family feels disrespected because he's having a press conference and you got a bunch of grown folks arguing with each other. You know, this case has really shown the ugly side of America. The ugly side that we actually pretended wasn't there, but we always knew was there. And what happened was, it's just like pulling a Band-Aid off the scab. Well, actually, it wasn't even a Band-Aid on the scab. Somebody just touched the scab and it opened again. And that's the world that we live in right now. We used to act like that we didn't have a racial problem anymore because we elected a black president and we got black folks in certain positions and Hispanic folks were getting in certain positions and we all lived in some of these nice mixed neighborhoods and went to these nice mixed schools, but there was always something bubbling under. And in this case, actually made this stuff come bubbling to the top. But I challenge each of you to go back to the basics. A kid died. Another kid is doing 35 years. 2 mothers will not sleep. One probably won't get a good night's rest for the rest of their life. The other was just waiting by the phone and hope that something hadn't happened to her son and that TDC won't call and say something's happened to him. So I want y'all to think about that. Was removing him from a tent was a push and a stab to the heart with all of this? Yeah, a lot of people going to say, yeah, it was. Did this and that, they this and that. But you're at home with your family tonight. You're going to get off this iPad and go to sleep in your nice warm bed and wake up in the morning and have some breakfast and sausage and eggs and bacon. And one kid is going on to be eternal and the other one is going to wake up in TDC. But you think it's worth it. Think about that for a minute. Signing off. Mel and Calvin. We'll see y'all again. Next case. We keep it moving. We watching the world. We watching the world. We watching y'all. All right. Let's go.
Different voices, but the same song. Living a world where we all belong. Kindness leading the way, breaking the chains. In the symphony of love, the thing remains. Embracing diversity, brighter days inside. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peak. Colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might. Watching the world sharing love and light. Hearts beating as one in our peaceful flight. The colors of harmony, painting the night. United we stand in love's pure might.